Okay, so I'm on the road for the weekend, but of course that doesn't mean I'm going to stop posting. The news certainly doesn't stop, and this story caught my eye for obvious reasons. Pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was informant for Mueller's FBI, special counsel under fire for deal with sex offender. Okay, so I think that a few things become clear immediately. First, there are huge names that Epstein is tied in with. So the fact that he was an FBI informant clearly shows favorability for someone who was a known pedophile and has a long history of child prostitution. This means other people connected to him now have a certain area of their life that most people in power, certainly no one to this point, is really willing to look into. The second thing immediately clear is that this explains why Epstein managed to wiggle his way out of serious charges levied against him for the molestation of 20 girls. All he accepted was a single charge of soliciting prostitution, and he served a 30-month sentence. But of course, there's more to this story, but before I get into that, let's just recap a bit of what Epstein is known for. He operated the Lolita Express, which was a private jet that took high-profile politicians and public figures to his private island where he would film them performing sexual acts with minors. In a 2006 court filing, Palm Beach police noted that a search of Epstein's home uncovered two hidden cameras. Their purpose? Blackmail. So, clearly not a great guy. And he's just trying to gain leverage over these elites while also being a raging pedophile himself. I mean, I'm not sure he understands how blackmail works. You know, you can't be caught doing the thing that you're wielding as blackmail against other people. But anyways, now that you know who Epstein roughly is, let's discuss his relationship with Mueller and the FBI. In Epstein's 2007 plea deal with the Department of Justice, there's nothing in it regarding him becoming an FBI informant. So, seeing as he was an FBI informant and he escaped serious charges for the most part, and there's nothing about this in his official plea deal, becoming an FBI informant, you almost have to wonder, was there a different unofficial plea deal? Another important thing to consider is that Epstein's victims weren't informed about the charges against Epstein until after he entered the plea deal. And there were emails about keeping the plea deal from becoming public. Then on September 24th, 2007, Epstein signed the non-prosecution agreement, and then over a month later, there were emails indicating they hadn't even interviewed all the witnesses. And then 5 months later, same story. And, what does this have to really do with Mueller? Well, from April 21st to May 1st, 2008, they talk about continued delay in presenting the case to a grand jury due to a failure to receive a decision from D.C. And D.C. in this scenario means the Washington, D.C. FBI headquarters. And the FBI was directly involved with Epstein's case in D.C. All of these documents are linked below. I encourage you to look through them if you're interested in this. Perhaps there's even more to pull out of these documents. I just wanted to bring the latest news on all of this to you. And Mueller is tied in with, pushing Epstein's case under the rug by failing to give a decision on it. And he was certainly involved with the D.C. meeting. I mean, the guy was head of the FBI. It's either incompetence or corruption. And judging by Mueller's track record, I don't think that incompetence is a good enough explanation. Not to mention, the implications of this whole story in connection to something like Pizzagate is huge. Epstein was a key player in that whole scandal. And if you're watching this video and you're going, Pizzagate isn't real, it's likely because at some point you saw some propagandistic video reducing it to some ridiculous straw man, and then they debunked the insane shell that they've created that doesn't represent the actual evidence at all. But again, the evidence isn't all that disputable. The interpretation of that evidence is. I mean, some interpretations just make more sense than others, but no seriously considered ones are all that sane sounding. I mean, Bill Clinton takes 26 trips on the Lolita Express, and Hillary went with him sometimes. But the Secret Service didn't on 5 of those trips. I mean, you explain that one to me. And of course, there's a lot more to it, but I'm not trying to make this a Pizzagate video, so that's all for this video. Not that Mueller could do much against Epstein now, just because the special counsel can't just uproot what they're organized to do and just move on to something else. But you have to wonder who Epstein was getting dirt on and who he already got dirt on. And we can only hope that the FBI didn't want all of this evidence through a secret plea deal only to destroy it. Unfortunately, that strikes me as the most plausible explanation. But I'd be happy to be proven wrong on this. I don't see it with how hard they were working to sweep it under the rug. And with how weaponized we already know the intel community was under Obama. So just think about this and view Mueller's actions connected to Pizzagate and Epstein in general through the lens of Epstein and Mueller being in cahoots when it comes to this child trafficking and prostitution deal. I mean, of course, as I said earlier, Epstein did get sentenced to 30 months in prison, but that is nothing compared to what he should have gotten. And really who he should have taken down with him too. I mean, if there's any further developments with this, you can be sure that I'll be reporting it here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't. Donation and merch links are below, and I'll see you in the next one.